All right, good evening. Thank you so much for everyone for joining. Happy December. I can't believe we're in the last month of the year already. Last month of the year is what I think about is, thinking about like the entirety of the year and being grateful for all the good things that have happened for us. I'm really appreciative of everybody on the call here today. Especially the executive board that I work with. They've been amazing, these amazing parent volunteers that help us out, and also to the school and the school community, all our donors, all our volunteers, all the parents that send their kids to the school. I was participating in a panel of parents, and I got to talk to one of my sons about the school and asking him, how he felt about the school and going to the school, and he told me, I think since I've come to the school, like it's made me a better person, and that makes me feel really great about our choice in choosing the school. And part of that choice is the community that's built there, and I have all of you to thank for that. So thank you so much. Our community is like amazing, and it's great to be part of this community. So thank you. And with that, part of the, I'm also thankful for the amazing staff and faculty at the school. I think our amazing parent coordinator does a great job. Our assistant principals, our teachers, and our principals. So thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to like the amazing things we have going forward for the new year. So with that, I want to have our principals report with our amazing principal, Mr. Max Ray Segura.
Thank you very much, Ricardo. It's good to see you. It's good to see everyone on this call. First off, happy holidays for those that are going to be celebrating very soon. I know that I may not see many of your faces or names on another Zoom screen until after we get back from the New Year break. And I want to make sure that if anyone has any outstanding questions or concerns that I get to you individually before we get to that time. I know I owe a few of you a few emails, and that's not lost on me either. The only preamble I'm going to give this before I launch directly into my report is that I might be one of the last few people in the building right now. Ms. Johnson's also here, but the catch is that we're testing out our alarm systems. And I know I'm not really supposed to be here right now, but I couldn't go home and still make this. So here we are. And now let's begin. Just give me a quick thumbs up if you can see this presentation. Fantastic. Sorry about the blurry photo. Just so you know, that's me 2 nights ago speaking with the Deputy Chancellor of Teaching and Learning at the DOE, Carolyn Quintana. That was at my union, the Council of Supervisors and Administrators. I was moderating a panel on the future of education and what teaching and learning looks like going ahead for the new administration. Now specifically through the lens of AAPI representation, and it was a really fascinating conversation. So I want you to know that even outside of the building, we're doing what we can to advocate for student identity, as well as an inclusive curriculum for all students, not just those that fall into an AAPI designation. So first and foremost, thank you, PTA. You rock. Drawathon was a big success. I will let the PTA exec board spend more time giving you the details, but it wasn't a record turnout overall. I think the rain may have had a small impact on that, but it was a record turnout for interested middle school students. So shout outs to those who marketed the event. We shared this at all our open houses. And as a result, we got a lot of future young professionals, prospective young professionals, see what it is that makes our school so special. Obviously, the many alumni and community guests who are part of the experience contributed towards a greater whole. And thank you so much for the parents who were working that table, cutting up sandwiches. Jackie, I see you there. I know Elaine was holding it down. A bunch of other folks were doing their thing. Thank you. Upcoming events for the holiday season. So we have a holiday party for for students coming up in another few weeks. We have updated bell music that is more inclusive than ever to the wide range of holidays that are celebrated around this time of year. We have door decoration contests, which are going to be going up on the 19th. That's part of a faculty-run professional development, where we'll be working on teamwork activities through a design thinking lens that Mr. Benchko is going to run for our faculty, but we'll be dressing up the doors as a result. One thing I really want to stress, you see it here, is no classwork. What this means is, and I plan on messaging this very succinctly and directly to my faculty, is that for the winter break, there is no work to be given. And that means no homework. It means no late classwork, nothing. It is a time for decompression, a time for connection with family and loved ones and with ourselves. So just know that that's one of our priorities as a school, is making sure that when you get a break, you take the break. That's part of being a professional too. And we have some fundraisers coming up. This one that I'm about to show you is a student-centered fundraiser that I am taking a direct part in. So this poster is all over the building. We are raising funds for seniors who are experiencing financial hardship in regards to the prom. This was an idea that actually came from our AP of Organization, Ms. Perez, probably because she wanted to embarrass me, but it's a great idea anyway. And that is that students are donating money into one of 3 buckets. And depending on which one of those buckets has the most money, by the 14th, I will dye my hair that specific color. And it is not a little spray. We're going all in. I already have the appointment set for the 22nd. So on the 23rd, it'll be a new me. Again, that is for seniors who otherwise couldn't afford to go to prom. And again, we want to make it so that the entire community has something to showcase in terms of giving. All right, some general updates. We have a new gallery opening coming in soon. So we just had faculty. Now we're moving into alumni. We have an alumni showcase, which is opening up in just about a week or so. I have to double check the dates, but I will share that with the entire PTA, along with a calendar of our upcoming events so that you know how to market internally and you'll be able to join us for the showcases. Marking period 2 just ended on the 6th. So that means that teachers are finalizing their grades. And grades from marking period 2 will be shared with all, will be placed in our system no later than close of business on Monday, which means that report cards are going out this coming Tuesday. You should be able to see your young professionals' grades for the report card reflected in Jupiter grades as of Tuesday. And if you have not yet accessed Jupiter grades, now's a great time to check in with Ms. Johnson, who will be able to get you access to that program. And if you're having conversations with other parents who have children who go to our school and they don't use Jupiter grades, please, please, please advocate that they get in, they see how their young professional is doing, and they stay clued into the conversation with teachers. We have Study Saturdays kicking off this Saturday. It's a program for students with IEPs, specifically designed to reinforce core instructional skill, ELA, math, science, and social studies. It's based on students identified through CSIS, and Mr. Familia, who has joined us tonight for a presentation about the special education services and 504s that our school provides and encourages for students who require them, that he's facilitating that program as well. Lastly, you'll notice this image here. These are not high school students. These are 5th graders from PS 59. They are perhaps some future young professionals in the room, and they're part of a range of different collaborations that we're holding with PS 59 to demonstrate artistic skills at the senior level and then supporting the community. So these for 5th graders, we're learning lighting technique, focal range, aperture, shutter speed, and all the fundamentals that make a photo studio work. And there's a lot more where that came from. Quick note for family communication. I just want to be clear about this because it's a helpful thing for everyone involved. First off, we are going to be using Kinvolved again, and there's been a little bit of a delay, but we're going to begin using that program effective within the next week or so in order to make sure that we have consistent communication with families about attendance, okay? As well as other things that may come up in your young professionals' classrooms. The first thing you see on this slide, however, is kind of a ladder of referral. I want to reinforce this to families. This is not to shirk my own responsibilities, but more importantly, it's designed to make sure that you get the fastest possible feedback, right, and results. So if there's an issue with your young professionals learning in the classroom, please reach out directly to their teachers. That's the first stop. If it's a guidance related issue around academic and social and emotional performance, reach out to your young professional's guidance counselor. If there's any kind of breakdown in communication there, or for whatever reason, there's no response to your inquiry, then we ask that you elevate it to the supervising assistant principal. And I'll make sure that the PTA gets a full list of, again, all assistant principals in the building, because there's 7 of them, and the corresponding departments that you can, that they supervise so that you can communicate a concern should it come up. And then should there be an issue there that cannot be resolved for whatever reason, then that makes its way to my desk. And the only reason why I'm stating this in this like 3-tiered way is because I've had a lot of folks email me lately about things which are some very important, and I'm glad that I got them, and other things which are very classroom related that should be resolved at the family and teacher level. I just want to make sure that you're, getting that first point of contact right. All right, let's keep it moving. If you visit our school now, you're going to see posters all over the school that have a QR code on it. We are asking that our young professionals monitor their own work-based learning hours. Work-based learning hours are part of the requirements for a CTE endorsed diploma, which is the equivalent for graduation purposes of an advanced Regents diploma. One of the reasons why that matters is because it makes your young professional more competitive at the college level. And what we're doing right now is students are actually logging and recording their own hours. In the past, that was up to the teachers for their major. If something happened to that teacher's files, if the teacher did not accurately collect all that information, then there was the possibility that a young professional may only graduate with a standard Regents diploma. But what we've had a tremendous amount of success with is this new initiative. And next week, or within the next 10 days or so, AP Lopez and Ms. Debra, our work-based learning coordinator, will hold a town hall for families that'll be recorded so that you get a sense of all the ways that we've refined our CTE and work-based learning program to fit the needs of our young professionals in a way that is setting them up for success. And part of that means having the autonomy to record and time keep on your own so that you can be responsible for the outcomes that you get. So more coming on that soon. Okay, we have tons of partners at Art and Design. I want to note for everybody that we can talk ourselves blue in the face about our list of partners. For these meetings, I only focus on the new partners at the school. And one of the nice things about work-based learning at Art and Design is that a student can actually log work-based learning hours for any time that they interface with a professional in the field that they're learning from or receiving mentor from or feedback from. So the first new partnership that we have for this point in the year is the 92nd Street Y. They're sending in script writers, screenwriters, playwrights, poets, and other creative writers into our 6 sections of creative writing, which is a senior level ELA course. So that's going to be a workshop series that runs twice a week through basically the next 18 weeks, as soon as it gets clearance, which should be before the end of the term. The Metropolitan Opera is offering us, the 92nd Street Y also will be sending those groups of students to 2 shows on the premises at 92nd Street Y. And then the Metropolitan Opera has invited students and families up to 3 tickets per family for some upcoming performances that they have as well. As soon as we have the information on that, Ms. Johnson is going to send it out to all families in the community. The last new partnership is sort of a nebulous ongoing one, but the Louis Vuitton as a brand invites our fashion department to check out some of their museums installations. They have their own kind of curated space and special exhibitions. This one is called 200 Trunks, and there's all these different LV trunks that are designed by different artists and inspired by different artists, all designed to get our fashion majors thinking differently in the context of a classic piece of furniture. Okay. All right. A&D Agency, which is the beating heart of our creative extracurricular programming, is back. We have our creatives broken into 4 separate groups. Some of our clients include Market Access, and there was a visit just yesterday. They're a fintech company, and we're working on briefs with them over the course of the rest of the year. We have Havas VX, which is a healthcare company that I mentioned during a previous PTA meeting. We're working with them to specifically work on healthcare and pharmaceutical marketing in the context of social justice. So we push all of our partners to reconsider the angle that they adopt and adapt when it comes to our young professionals making their marketing and advertising. We're still working with Movement Strategy, and we're continuing to work with the DOE because the DOE has recognized that we are one of the best in-house sources of creativity that they could ever hope to tap. So I just, I operated a very fast clip. I'm sorry if that went too fast for folks. I'm seeing there's some contributions in the chat already for hair color. Look, it's all about who gives. And that's what I keep saying. The students, they see me in the hall, they say red, green. It's like, you got to give. We'll see how it shakes out. But, I got to put my money where my mouth is. That's really important. My appointment has already been made. So it's happening one way or another. Now, some folks do have some questions. Lorraine, I see your question. For the CT diploma, young professionals can absolutely use outside internships. Absolutely. They still need to log the hours. And there's 2 different types of WBL forms that Mr. Lopez is going to go over. One is for work that's done that's 10 hours or less. And the other form they have to complete is one that's for more sustained WBL. And they'll be able to go track those hours over time. Remember, in order to earn the credential, a young professional needs 54 hours minimum. Of course, most of our students will earn thousands of hours as long as they're documented before the end of their career at Art and Design. So not super worried. I I hope that helps. Again, Sandra, we're going to see AP Lopez kind of go through all those requirements, but I just spoke about some. And then as far as the who reviews the WBL hours, that's guidance counselors, and Ms. Debra is our WBL coordinator. Thank you, Ms. Johnson, for putting that information into the chat. And as per usual, I always say, please, please, please email me if you have any questions about anything that I presented, any specifics that I didn't cover, or just general concerns you have that go outside of direct teacher academic work. Okay. Everybody, for all the range of different holidays you practice and celebrate, I wish each and every one of you a relaxing holiday break. I'm really hoping that we all get some of that much needed rest that we keep talking about. And most importantly, just the way that I've been communicating this to my staff, I think this is kind of my send-off piece, is that this past Monday, I spoke with my entire faculty about the importance of compassion and kindness, specifically compassion and kindness in the way that we communicate with each other, not just in the holidays, but beyond. And that kindness comes from affirming the identity of the people that you're speaking to. It means really seeing people. It means if you know their name, say their name. Right? It means if you are teaching about a certain subject, which is sensitive, approach it with sensitivity. More than anything, lead with kindness. It'll help make everything work for the rest of this year. And I said to my faculty, it's about how you treat each other. It's about how you treat families and our students. And I'm going to share that same message with families. I made that commitment to them on Monday. So I'm saying to you as families, I ask that when reaching out to our faculty, we know that this time of year produces stresses for everyone, for our students, for ourselves, right? For the teachers. It's that time of year. And I want to make sure that as much as possible, we maintain a respectful and kind approach to the way that we communicate, because that's the way that learning communities can be most successful. And I want to make sure that we have a lot to celebrate the rest of this year too. And there certainly are a lot of updates to come up, but I've taken up more than my fair share of time. Thank you, Ricardo, for being so generous with my time. And thank you, Selma, who I know is looped in somewhere on the way back home.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Principal Segura. And I'm going to try to share my screen. Can everybody see? Can I get a thumbs up, please? Yep.
Yes, we could see.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, and so our fundraiser, our Giving Tuesday, I want to thank all our donors for making this a great Giving Tuesday. We so far have raised $3,400 from Giving Tuesday. In addition to that, we raised an additional $170 from Amazon Smile. So thank you everyone who participated through those programs. We still have our Giving Tuesday campaign up. We're a 501c3, and your donation is tax deductible. So anybody who's looking to donate before the end of the year and put those donations, please consider us. You know, we're looking to help all our students as best we can. Drawathon. I want to thank everybody who participated in Drawathon. We had a great experience at Drawathon. It was amazing seeing all our students who participated and all the artists and all the amazing works that they did. And we also got to help make a little bit of a fundraiser out of it. And we had $960 in total sales. We sold food and drinks and those cool buttons and t-shirts. So thank you everybody who came and helped us with that. An update, we're going to have our PTA holiday bake sale. We're planning that for Monday, December 19th during the lunch periods. We are still looking for volunteers for that and for people to donate baked goods for that. If you can, please, help us participate. This is usually one of the better bake sales that we have, and the kids really look forward to that. And we also have if you can't bake or participate that day, we also have like an Amazon wish list on things that we could sell to the students, and you can participate that way as well. Again, for our November donations, we had total donations, including everything, of $8,878.86. So thank you again to all our donors for having a very successful November in terms of donations. those donations, where do they go? Those donations went to like some really cool events. We had the junior mixer that happened in November, and we bought 70 paint boxes in total that the school's ready to use. And so, and I think we just got the email after a lot of work. We did get the ceramic kiln delivered, and it's installed in the school, and they're working on the full installation, and soon students will be able to use that kiln for their ceramics classes. So that is super cool. We also had donations go in for the Kenny Gallery exhibitions. We celebrated with the one of the presentation by the art and design faculty and staff. And the next exhibition, I believe, is going to be by the alumni, and we've been helping out with giving refreshments for the opening of those events. So thank you. Okay, Jessamine, I'm going to let Jessamine talk for this slide. This is our PTA financial report. Jessamine, you there?
Hi, Ricardo. Thank you. Yeah, what you see in front of you is our financial report for the month that Aniki prepared. And as you can see in the month, we have had a gross profit of $11,649.16 that come from a total that come from the sources that Ricardo was just speaking about, public support, and as well as teach. Oh,
I'm sorry.
that's okay. So the t-shirt sales and merchandise sales. So yep, that. And in terms of expenditures, we donated just over $4,000, $4,081.79 to the school. We also paid for our tech services, Zoom and Wix, some purchases for the PTA and bake sale expenses, bringing our total expenditures up to $4,387.61 and a net income of $7,261.55, with a closing bank balance of $61,476.19. Yep, and that's where we're at. This is October's. Ricardo, I just realized this is actually October's report, not November's report. If you want to come back, I can share screen and bring it up in a few moments.
Okay.
Or if you want, if it's okay, I can also I have it. I can drop it, the November report, in the chat. For folks to look at.
Ricardo, I have it up on the screen if you want me to share, or you could come back to it later if you want.
Yeah, I just made you co-host, so you can do it.
All right, no problem. Let me just share really quickly. Can we see?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. There's probably a lot of stuff on my screen. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. So yeah, this is the November report. Basically, we started the month with $61,476 as our carryover from last month. We had some income from our membership dues and our annual appeal that total a little over $1,700. And as Ricardo mentioned, we did have $170 in Amazon Smile. Thank you guys for that. We also had, and I wanted to mention, we had the students had a collaboration with HBO, Selena and Chef, and they decided to honor 8 of our students and provide them with some stipends. They gave us the donation, which after some fees came up to $47.50. So this $47.50 that you guys see here is a representation of what HBO gave to the PTA as a stipend to these 8 students. So we made our check out to those 8 students. So by next month, this $47.50 will be out of our account. I just wanted to mention that. So even though we see it here and it fluffed up our numbers a bit, it'll be gone by next month. Let's go down a bit. So our total income for November is $66.99. I don't know if I could bring the screen down. Oh, there we go. All right. our expenses. So we did do a good amount of donations to our school. We came out of our account was for, if you take a peek at the bottom of the screen, you'll see we paid for the Skyscraper Museum. We did that, I think, in October, but it came out of our account in November. So I just wanted to mention that for $90. We did our monthly newscast donations for their little pizza party. We donated a keyboard and stand. We did something for Comic-Con where we helped them to make their table and their display a little bit more eye-catching. We did donate paint boxes. I believe it was about 70 paint boxes. That came up to $27.65. As Ricardo also mentioned, we did the staff exhibition. We did the refreshments for that for the Kenny Gallery for $250. We donated clay. We did have the kiln arrive finally for the ceramics class, and the second payment for that came out as well. So that's what's totaling our $65.39.12 of donations made to the school. We had expenses for or staff meeting for about $60, stuff that we bought just to sell back later for hospitality. And we also had our regular monthly payments for our Wix, Zoom, and MailChimp, adding up to $84. So our total expenses for November was a little over $6,600. So we did break even, and I guess we broke even just because of that $47.50 from HBO. So all in all, if we took that out, we would we've been tapping into our reserves in our bank account. So because we didn't do a lot of fundraising for November, except for the Giving Tuesdays, which has not hit the account yet, right? So I think the Giving Tuesday was the only fundraiser we did for that month. So all in all, we now have a grand total of $61,521 as our ending balance for November. Let me stop sharing. I'm not sure if anyone has any questions. Feel free to pop it in the chat or unmute and ask. Okay, all right, I'll stop sharing, Ricardo.
And with that, I wanted to introduce Jackie Harris, and she's going to talk a little bit about Fanfare. We want to hold the date for Fanfare. It's a great event, and we're holding the date for April 29th through the 30th. And Jackie, if you want to kind of do your thing and talk to us a little bit about Fanfare, that'd be great.
Yeah, hi everyone. So Fanfare was started as a fundraiser and a way to create a connection between the students and professionals. And I'll get a little bit more into that, but what I first want to do is share this video, and I just had a connection problem, so hopefully this works out. But it's short, right around 2 minutes. There was a suggestion to stop the music to have the connection go better. So Fanfare is Art and Design's Comic-Con. And again, it's an event that supports, our young professionals to make connections with professionals in their respective career paths and areas of interest. And one of the things that prompted one of the connections that prompted this event is the connection to Neil Adams, who passed last year, but was a comic, an alumni of Art and Design, and drew Superman. So this Superman here in the center is one of his illustrations, and the two on either side are student created Fanfare characters, and that's part of this event. So again, it's a focus on cartooning, illustration, and animation, but definitely hopefully can include all majors through things like film majors filming the event, and photography majors photographing, etc. So in terms of volunteers and committees, let me just back up real quick. So this was done in the school, a 2-day event, I think 18, 19, and 20. And then of course, soon after the event in 20, the pandemic hit. So in 21, it was online. 22, we were able to have an event that was at the Queen's Botanical Garden, and was a great success for what it was, but we're hoping to get back to that in-person at the school 2-day event. So we're looking for volunteers for these various committees. So for students, organizing their involvement, coordinating with the different majors, rallying the students for the sale of their art, and the character contest. And then in the logistics area would be vendors, guests and speakers, general logistics, run of show, food and drinks, and then marketing and advertising, graphics, social media, communications, advertising, and then of course day of event volunteers. So if you are looking at this presentation here tonight and you're seeing a way that you could contribute in any way, please reach out. We do plan on having a event specific volunteer form that will go out in the newsletter this week. Some of you may have signed up at the beginning of the year with our volunteer sign up form, and I do have a list of names that I'll be contacting you soon. And if you haven't seen one of those, if the volunteer form doesn't hit your inbox, you can contact us at contact@artanddesignpta.org, and our corresponding secretaries will get that information to the Fanfare committee. And you can follow us on, these are the 3 social media platforms that we're on, and it's all Fanfare NYC as the name for all 3. And then again for the dates, so we're looking out, at the end of April. We have a few months to get this planned, but as you can see, there's a lot going on. It's a big event, and hopefully can be a very big fundraiser that will give a lot of opportunities and contribute to all of our young professionals in the school and to the community in general. So I am going to stop sharing, and if there are any questions, you can unmute and ask now, or put your questions in the chat, and we can we can answer those. I do see a couple of faces of people who were there last year, and I will definitely be contacting you, Ingrid and Mina. And Selma, you know, became co-president because of her involvement in Fanfare. And, you know, really between the planning and the day of, it's going to take a lot of hands. So I hope that everyone can find a way to be involved. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jackie. And you know, I was at the draw-a-thon, and the students are like just great about volunteering at all these events. And I was listening to one of the tables for the volunteers, and like a junior was talking to a freshman. We have this event, it's called Fanfare. It's great. You have to come. And to hear their excitement about it, I will really want to make this event happen, especially for all those kids who've missed the event before. And it's a great event for the community, and it's a way for us to really showcase the talents of our students. Our students are really involved in this. So any way anybody can help us with that would be really appreciated.
Yeah, the student involvement last year it blew me away, and it really sort of solidified my my interest in making this event happen as well. It looks like there's a question, Michelle.
Hi, yes, I just had a question on the students that want to submit work at Fanfare. Is there a minimum number of pieces? Like if someone is new to the school, they're in 9th grade, how does that work?
So it's really up to them to curate their sales, you know, curate anything that they want to sell. So there were some kids last year who sold out of everything that they brought. So we hope to have meetings with the students where we can help them to develop, and I say help them to develop, you know, give them the information that they'll need to sort of prepare.
Right.
Yeah, we usually have the students apply, and we also have guidance check to make sure that they are eligible to. We want to make sure that we keep students on track with their academics, as well as having this great opportunity. So we look at having students apply, and then we provide a little bit of guidance in terms of what they should have at the table, and like they usually do stickers and pieces of art that they feel comfortable selling. So we provide a little bit of guidance on that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Magdalena. All right. I'm going to share I'm going to share screen again, and see. Everybody can see the minutes for November? Just give me a thumbs up, please. And I just needed somebody to approve our minutes. We'll just take a vote to approve the minutes. Jackie, did you want to say anything about the minutes? Or?
Hopefully you got a chance to read them. We did put them in the chat ahead of time. And I believe they went out. Did they go out today with the newsletter? Either way. If anyone wants to touch on any of the specific points, we could.
I make a motion to pass the minutes.
Second, there you go.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to approve the minutes. Thank you so much. All right. Stop the share. Awesome. And with that, thank you so much for that. I want to, we have a special presenter tonight, and it's Mr. Familia. He's our assistant principal. If you haven't met Mr. Familia, he's a really great, caring administrator, and the care he has for our students and the involvement. I saw him running around in Drawathon and the interactions he had with, it's really impressive to see. And I want to thank him for everything he does for our students. And I wanted him to kind of share a little bit about, the resources we have for our students with IEPs and 504s, and, what we can do to kind of keep them, make them as successful as possible. So with that, Mr. Familia, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, PTA, for inviting me and letting me kind of speak and, take a little bit of your time to kind of go over students with disabilities, 504 accommodations. I kind of also really want to thank the PTA. This is, since I've been in the school system, probably the most support the PTA has had in the school building at Art and Design. When I was running COSA a couple of years ago, you were my bridge to anything that I needed. I would reach out and you guys were always there. So I really, really do thank you. I've never forgotten that. I appreciate that to the fullest. So thank you again for that. So my name is Luis Familia. I am the assistant principal of students with disabilities at the High School of Art and Design. This is currently my second year as an administrator, but I have been a special ed teacher at the building for 7 years prior to this position here. So I've been there, multiple principals. Max is now my 5th principal at Art and Design. So I've seen the shift in the instructional supports, students with disabilities being in the classroom. I've taught all academic courses for math, science, ELA, and history. I've done ESL courses. So I've been in the realm of special education, what it means for students and how vital it is for our students with disabilities to have these supports for them to be successful, not only Art and Design, but also as they graduate and moving on to kind of the real world scenarios and moving on to colleges or any traditional setting they would like to go to. With that being said, I'm going to share my screen. I have kind of a PowerPoint to share with everyone. I'm going to leave the Q&A for the last slide, and then any personal questions that pertains to your child, I'm going to give you my email so you can email me personally if it's not a general question about students with disabilities or 504s. I like to keep that confidential, so just keep it there. Let me just. Can everyone see my screen? Yes?
Yes, we can.
Awesome, thank you. So again, my name is Luis Familia, AP of Students with Disabilities at the High School of Art and Design. My email is elfamilia, family as in Spanish, no numbers, just elfamilia@schools.nyc.gov. And you can find me in room 1013 on the 10th floor. The fastest way to reach me is via email. As soon as I get on a computer and see my emails, I respond as fast as I can. So what an IEP is essentially an individualized educational plan for a student that has a disability. It lays out what the needs are, what the supports are, and what we need to provide for a student that has a disability to make sure that they're obtaining and have access to instruction within the classroom. Students have their mandated annual review per year, once per year, and then every 3 years they have a triannual. And what a triannual is, the school psychologist at the building level does new assessments, and they do a reevaluation to see if a student either needs more supports or if they have reached their goals, and we can remove some of those supports. Now, these are just the mandated ones. A parent can request a reconvene at any time during the year. They can request any meeting at any time during the year, but these are mandated for us. A student has a case manager, usually a teacher they have in their classroom, to run their annual review, and then the triennial is run by the school psychologist. Now, at Art and Design High School, we have about 360 students with IEPs. That's almost 22% of the population. That is a very big number for students in a high school with IEPs. Sorry, my dog is walking around. Hi, Cash. So the disability classification as per the SOPM are identified as this. So students that have an IEP either have autism or on the spectrum, deafness, deaf blindness, traumatic brain injury, they have emotional disturbance, they have a hearing impairment, intellectual disability, a learning disability. They have multiple disabilities. They either have a speech or language impairment, a visual impairment, orthopedic impairment, or other health impairment. And with the other health impairment section, that is ADD, ADHD, that falls under that. One of the major goals of Art and Design, and since I've been taking over special education, is to make sure that our students are in the least restrictive environment. When our students come in from 8th grade, We have them, we don't know the students, we just follow their IEP. Do they have ICT, which I'll go into the next slide, or self-contained, or do they have sets? What services are they receiving? Are they receiving speech, counseling, OT? Are they receiving hearing? And for their first year, all those mandates stay the same. We follow the mandate to the T. As we start to gather information and start to gather data, as they move on into the high school career, we want to be able to make them more independent. So that means removing some of those services as they meet their goals and become more independent. One of the things that I really want to move away from as a goal of the AP of Student Disabilities at the high school is we don't want a student as a senior with all these services. And then once they graduate that June 30th date, they go into college and the college doesn't provide as many services as they did in high school. That's a disservice to our students. We want to make them more independent as they move on because they will be independent as they graduate. The accommodations. So the general accommodations for students with an IEP or 504, students receive extended time and a half or double time of on exams over 40 minutes. That includes state exams, SATs, ACTs. Other accommodations range from, assistive tech. They might have a scribe if a student has a muscular problem. They can't write for too long, questions and directions read to them. Some of the classroom accommodations that that the students usually come in with and are offered within the class are, on-task focusing prompts, use of graphic organizers, which is very vital for students like in the ELA or the history classes, having the graphic organizers to kind of keep them on track and looking at the agenda, what the criteria for success is. Some students, work better sitting, in the front of the classroom, or if we zone out the classrooms, a zone where a teacher can always monitor that student, maybe on the side, definitely not the back or the middle. We always think about that, what the expectations are for a student, for long-term projects. We want to be able to chunk some of those assignments and break that up, maybe use their daily planners as a mandate, looking over what some of the do nows are and what are the deadlines are for those projects and those assignments. Modeling is very important. If you sit in a classroom for a student that may have ADD, one of the things that they kind of trigger them, they might be looking at the clock or they might be looking in the back and they get distracted easily. If a teacher models what they want the students to do, is very vital and important for them. And then also multitask, task directions being presented visually and being repeated. So one of the things that I always advise my teachers from away is just putting a lot of words on the board, everything on the board, like a task list. We want to be able to have a visual. Students want to see slides. A slide deck is very important for students. What is on the agenda? Okay, if I do this step number 1, what if I move into step number 2? And it's always visible for them. There's a timer on the board so the students can hold themselves accountable and they can just look up. I want to be very transparent on kind of the teacher side of this as well. So what we use at R&D Design across the city is called CSIS. So the system tracks the IEPs from the first time the students got it. This tracks all the different events, everything on CSIS we're able to see, when's the first time they had the IEP, was it second, third grade, and we're able to see every IEP since then and what modifications have been done to the IEP, what amendments, any services that have been removed, any services have been added, what are the triannuals, any new evaluations. And what I target with the teachers at the beginning of the school year is every teacher has access to the CSIS system and IEPs. So I always tell them to focus on the PLOP. And now if you're a parent that has a child with an IEP, you know that the PLOP is very important. That is the present levels of performance, right? So in that section of the IEP, we see the evaluation results, what the academic achievement are, what are the learning characteristics, what is the social development, is there any physical ailments, what is the physical development. The management needs are very important because that's a section that outlines what accommodations in the class or strategies works best for that child to learn within your classroom. And of course, the accommodations and the extended time specifically to that child. Teachers, I always refocus the teachers across the board, either special ed, general ed, the art teachers, the phys ed teachers. We might have a student that has adaptive physical education. They can't move for a certain amount of time. This section of the IEP kind of gives us context of the student as a learner and what strategies you can implement within the class to make them successful. These are the 3 class settings at R&D Design and usually just across the board with students with IEPs, which is integrated co-teaching. This is in math, history, science, ELA. There's a max of 34 students in the class with a 60-40 split. 12 students max that have IEPs in that class. And this is what they have 2 teachers in the classroom. So you have one general ed teacher, you have one special education teacher that are collaborating with each other to make sure that the lesson plan is accessible for the students in the classroom and is modified so the students understand and are able to, be immersed within that lesson. The self-contained is a 15-to-1 ratio at the high school level, again, in math, history, science, and English. But this is only for special ed students. There are no general ed students in that class. And usually these are students that are having a lot of difficulty that came in from 7th and 8th grade and are usually in 9th and 10th grade that have self-contained. As we move on to junior year and senior year, these students are either have a split schedule, 2 classes in ICT, 2 classes in self-contained, but we definitely is not a goal for us to keep students in the self-contained setting, because for me, it's a disservice. Students having that small class setting and not being able to discuss with the general ed students and being able to immerse in that, work in groups, work on their social skills, and be in a bigger setting is not what we want. We want to be able to immerse into that. And then SETS is our, special education teacher support services, where students have advisory in the morning. That's an 8-to-1 ratio. That's tutoring or advisory in the morning before first period. The kids can come in and get that individualized sessions in the morning for, again, math, history, science, ELA. Sometimes we, invite our teachers to help with that as well. When we have professional development throughout the year, I always focus on the ICT partnership and collaboration. It has to be a teamwork, right? The teachers have to work as a team. They have to reflect on their teaching. They have to work on strategy building and sharing with each other what worked, what didn't work, and open up that bridge of communication, right? You're working as a class. We're not dividing the class. These students with IEPs and these students with general ed, everyone's together. How can we make this work together so everyone has access to the class and learn at the same time, right? So fill in those gaps. We identify the roles very, very onset. Do we want to do parallel teaching one day? Do we want to focus on one teach, one assist, monitoring the class? So we kind of work on the strategies throughout the year. And one of the main questions that I ask the teachers and pose to them is, how do I see myself in the classroom, and how will the young professionals see me? Right. Both teachers are highly certified. They know their knowledge about the content. So it's no one knows more than the other. They both share it 50-50. And you want to be able to portray that to the students. We don't want the students to know that there's a special ed teacher, there's a general ed teacher. They both are the same in the class. At Art and Design, we have a very big students with disabilities team. So we have 21 teachers in the building that are specifically for special ed in the different disciplines. We have science teachers, we have history teachers, we have math teachers, we have English teachers. So during parent-teacher conference or during parental outreach on Tuesdays, you might have 2 teachers you're meeting with for one subject, or you might have one or the other. If you see these names, for science, Miss Washington, Miss Williams, Miss Smith, Miss Candela, Miss Ramirez, that's science. They work specifically in the science department. If you have history, you have Mr. Clinton, Miss Corbin, Miss Lefebvre, Mrs. Segarra, Miss Impongo. They specifically work in the history discipline. Math, we have Miss Clark, Miss Stingin, Miss Abdallah, Miss Robinson, Mr. Sanchez, and Miss Correva. They work in the math discipline. And then for the ELA, we have Miss Fisher, Mr. Knights, Miss Murphy, Miss Himes, and Mr. Williams. So we try to keep special ed teachers within discipline that they feel most comfortable with and they have the most knowledge with, and they stay in there so they can work on their craft throughout the year. Our support team members as well, we have 3 speech providers. We have 1 hearing teacher. We have 2 social workers in the building. We have an OT, we have a school psychologist, and the family worker. The family worker works with the school psychologist and setting up those triannuals. You usually get an invite from the family worker explaining what the purpose of the meeting is. And all these services are provided within the IEP. So if a student has speech, they might have it twice a week, once a week for usually 40 to 44 minutes, maybe once a month. The hearing teacher works on students that have hearing impairments. If they have an aid in the ear, they meet with them to work on how, if they say they want to close in the front, if they have an FM unit, the social workers work on counseling, right? So students have either mandated counseling with a social worker or they have it with the school guidance counselor. If students need more than this mandated service, we have partnerships with like ABC and CRP in the building, where students can meet with different counselors, interns, if they have any other questions. Our OT, Mr. Lipa, works with students for occupational therapy, and the service needed within the OT spectrum. And then, of course, our school psychologist, Mr. Larson, works with the triannuals. Now, I really want to make note that the school psychologist cannot diagnose a disability, right? So the school psychologist at the school DOE level does not diagnose any disabilities. They do assessments and can give you kind of a range of where your child is, but they cannot diagnose a disability. Usually we request a neuropsych from an outside source to do that, because then now it's just aligned to what we're looking for. Kind of the added to the academic support for our students. We have the Saturday tutoring program that we're starting this Saturday. So the dates are the 10th of December, then the 17th. Then we go on our break for a week and 1 day, 6 days of school. Then we start again right after the break on the 7th, then the 14th, the 21st, the 28th, all through January, and then February 4th. We will start the program again from March all the way to June as well. This program worked very well last year for students that wanted to come in. They had time on a Saturday. They wanted a tutor. We have the 4 academic subjects. We have a speech provider in the building as well, kind of providing the services. Some students feel comfortable with the speech provider as well. We will be there from 8:30 to 1. There is no sign up needed. Definitely come in. We'll provide snacks in the morning. We'll be on the 10th floor. If students need if they need time to get out of the house as well, they want to exercise, we have Mr. Pastakanovich, with physical education, going to be on the 5th floor. They want to play basketball, one Saturday, or they want to play volleyball, or if they want to go into the weight room and, work out on endurance, he's going to be there as well. So this program is specifically for students with IEPs. I'm not going to, not have any other student come in. Any student can come in as well to take the benefit of this program. Something else I want to highlight is the National Honor Society peer tutoring. So these are students within our building that are in National Honor Society that provide tutoring, from Wednesdays to Fridays from 2:45 to 4:15 and room 907. They provide mentorship for our students. They're versed within the academic subjects, and, they have the one-to-one. So, this is something that I would definitely encourage everyone to take advantage of. We also have Artists in Residence program, where students are assigned a mentor throughout the first semester, and then the second semester. These are individuals and staff members in the building that check up on them, making sure that, they're doing their homework, or, if there's any struggles in a specific class, they're finding resources to help them. So these 3 academic supports, along with everything that's provided within the IEP, are things that we work on at Art and Design. As far as the 504 is a temporary educational plan for a student, which is really designed for students. Let's say if they broke a leg and they need an accommodation of an elevator pass. If they broke a hand and they can't write, there's an accommodation for them to use laptops for a specific class for a specific time. That is a temporary plan for students that need kind of the extra support. Usually parents see that their child might be having some academic struggles, and they get an evaluation done and it states that they have ADD, or they have anxiety that's a very detriment, or it's impeding their academic success. And the 504 creates a little bit of a plan to help those students for 3, 4, 5, or for the whole year, kind of help. So the 504 doesn't really provide as much classroom accommodations as an IEP, because the IEP is much more individualized, but the 504 is there to kind of provide those supports as well. I'm going to open up to the Q&A just before I kind of end the screen here. Please write this down. elfamilia@schools.nyc.gov. I also have Ms. Himes, which is my IEP coordinator. If I can be reached, definitely reach out to her. She'll come find to me. We kind of work together and provide supports for families at Art and Design, or any students with disabilities, or even outside. If you have any questions and you can't reach anyone in the building, I usually respond as soon as possible with any questions outside. I've been in the building for a very long time. Any questions about any events, or any questions, or you need to reach someone, I usually get that information as fast as I can and I send it out. So definitely take advantage of my time when you can, and then just definitely email me. I am going to stop my share now. Okay, so I see a lot of questions. I do want to add, so I was talking, well, not talking to Ricardo one-to-one, but we did have the superintendent on Tuesday. And one of the questions that the superintendent was asking our student group, our parent group, our teacher group is, what was something that, you know, if you could change or add to the building, you would do? So Ricardo mentioned maybe a social group, right? So post-pandemic, and I've been in the building for a long time, right after the pandemic, that first year, it was difficult. But I'm going to be very honest. Now, 2 years after the pandemic, it's worse than it was before, because now we're getting, you know, students are like feeling the struggle, right? In the beginning, there was a lot of, you know, leisure, there was a lot of flexibility. Now that we're getting back into the regions, that we're getting back to, you know, let's focus on academics, students are having, you know, struggling, you know, and one of the things is, you know, the social aspect of it. You know, how can we create a group, you know, for students to become more social? We're a building of 15,000 students, 1,500 students. So how can we make it more social? For me, what I would like to add is organizational skills, right? Executive functioning. We have to understand that our students are taking 8 periods a day, right? It's a jam-packed schedule, including lunch. So that's 7 periods and then lunch. So to work on those strategies in 44 minutes in a specific class is not enough. So I'm thinking of ways to bring in partnerships to help our students with, you know, the organization piece, executive functioning. You know, what do they remember? How do they write things down? How do they work on long projects? Even if they have kind of those mini deadlines, how can we get them towards, you know, not procrastinating as much? You know, that's something that I need to learn when I went into college, because it's so difficult, you know, have alumni coming back and say, you know, Mr. Finley, I have 4-hour break between my classes. What do I do? I'm like, you need to do work. You know what I mean? And but it's difficult for them. You know, they go from a structure at R&D Design or any high school, and then they graduate, and then they take one class in the morning, they have a 4-hour break, and they're like, I could do this essay right before it's due, 11:59, and they're like struggling. So that's one thing I definitely want to push at R&D Design, and that's going to be my goal for this year and moving forward, how to implement those strategies for students to be successful with organization and time management. Let me just answer a couple questions. Sorry. For the College Board. Oh, you answered the question. Okay. Yeah, if your child has an IEP or 504 for College Board, there is a consent form. You fill out the consent form, and then what we do, we upload the information onto College Board, either the IEP or the 504, and they'll get those accommodations. For the ACT is a little different. You have to actually apply for the ACT if you're going to take the ACT, and then we get notification, and then I upload that information. It's not as easy as the ACT because it's not as common as the ACT. You can just email directly. If there are any questions by ACTs, I'll double check and I'll send you the form, and then we'll do that. The SATs are being given in March. So if your child has an IEP or an accommodation, we want to get those in as soon as possible, because the College Board takes our applications and they review it. I think I answered most questions. Yes. And again, if you have any other questions on the lingering, definitely email me on the side as well. And thank you again.
With the Saturday program, are the teachers prompting the students to stay on task? And how is that going to work for students on, you know?
In the Saturday program? Yeah, so what we like to do is, so we're there from 8:30 to 1. We're not saying a student is going to stay in math for 5.5 hours. So we like the kids to kind of juggle and rotate, right? So if they're in math for an hour, you know, they're staying on task, they're getting the one-to-one individualized instruction, and we say, you know what, let's rotate. Do you have some ELA homework, right? Do you want to go to ELA room, or do you want to go to the science room? You want to go to the history room? Do you need a break? You want to go to the gym? You want to speak to the speech provider? So they're not just there by themselves. They have someone that's always going to be with them, kind of prompting them to do the work, right? The student, we have laptops, we have anything they need available within the building. So they just need to bring themselves. That's all they need to do. No. The teachers will be there for Saturday school. Even if it's a snowstorm and the school's open, we will be there. We have the 4 academic subjects. I will be there. If I need a tutor, I will tutor myself. We will be there. So no worries. Definitely just have your child come in. There's no
Actually, the Saturday program works out really, really well. You'd be surprised how much functioning goes on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much less distractions.
Yeah. Awesome.
Great presentation, Mr. Finley. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And again, please email me on the side. I have a work phone now, so I can reply on my phone. So that's even better. I will give you my work text as well if you need that number. And there you go.
Thank you very much. That was super informative. Thank you.
Everyone. Thank you. Have a good one, everyone. Enjoy your night and enjoy your break as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just want to thank everybody for coming. I did have to share a little bit of a glitch for us. I want to thank everybody who wanted to participate in our last t-shirt campaign that just happened in November, but unfortunately we didn't have enough orders to complete that order, and there was a glitch with our vendor with the and we weren't able to complete that. Everybody who did do that order should have gotten an email that the order was canceled and should have been fully refunded. If not, please email us, but that was our understanding with the vendor. But apologies, but I hope hopefully we're gonna have a new campaign for merchandising in the spring for that as well. Selma, did you want to add anything for today?
Yes, I do. We didn't vote. Sorry, folks, I was driving here. I couldn't stay at the school, but Ricardo, did we vote on the 2 requests?
No, here we go. Here's the votes.
All right, okay, so let's do
Everybody
that.
see the polls. We have a couple of requests. The first request is for the COSA holiday party for December 16th. They're asking for $800 for snacks, drinks, and holiday decorations, and that's for 450 students of all grades. Yeah, they're also looking for holiday decorations to be donated if possible, and then they'd spend a little bit less if possible. We'll send that out in our newsletter as well. Sophomore cartooning kits, $3,000 for brushes, micron pens, cartooning pens, and special ink, and that's for 90 students. Okay, and the third is to approve our bake sale fundraiser for December 16th. Okay, and just gonna keep that open for a couple more minutes. Hopefully everybody can get a chance to vote. Keep that. Looks pretty good.
Guys, I'm heading out. They're
Thank you,
flashing
Ms.
and they're
Johnson.
gonna run
Happy
that system.
holiday.
Happy holidays,
Janine.
everyone.
Okay. And I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to end the poll. And thank you everyone for participating. All the funding requests were approved, and I'm going to email our
I would like to tell
share the
we
results.
approved. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Thank you so much. And we're going to share that with the team so that we can get everything done for that. So thank you all. Go ahead, Selma.
No, I would like to thank everybody for all the support, the donations, and I got here, you guys will talk about the fanfare. Please support us, be part of the committee, whatever you can help, and be part of it. It's fun. I loved it. And that is what got me to be a co-president of the PTA, because it was really amazing to see how that folds out. The students, they did this wonderful job and they were so happy. So be part of it as much as you can, you know, and with whatever you can, that would be very nice. That's all. And thank you. Happy holidays for everybody. You know, enjoy December. And I heard from the principal, I didn't hear, I was listening to the presentation during my driving, and kids, they're not gonna have homework during the break. So woohoo. I hope that's true. We all can just relax and enjoy the time. Yes. Pass to you, Ricardo, to close the meeting.
Vivian, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, I wanted to add one more thing before we don't see you guys until January. I wanted to just put into everybody's minds that we have an online auction coming up in the spring. And that's going to be in the beginning of May, from May 5th to 15th. And the reason why I'm mentioning it now is that we will be looking for donations, and things that work really well for the online auction are things like restaurant gift cards, destinations, hotel nights, anything like that. So if you're going away over the break and you're going somewhere fabulous, don't be shy. Get the contact, who to contact to get something donated. We will try to get forms put together before the break, so that if there's anything that you think might make a great auction item, please reach out and try to get it for us. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'm always available to answer any questions regarding the auction. So thanks.
Awesome. Is there any other new business from anyone? Okay, want to thank everybody for coming in, and have a great holiday. Yeah, enjoy the break with no homework, and best to everyone. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ricardo and Selma.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Happy holidays, guys. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. I'm gonna stop recording.
Oh, yeah.